Recently, most of my workouts have been all about introducing rotation in the majority of the exercises that I'm choosing. And since gymnastic rings have always been a big part of my training, I tried to incorporate them as much as I could. However, I've had some difficulties in doing so because a lot of the classic exercises are bilateral ones. Push-ups, dips, rows and pull-ups are all symmetric exercises. Both sides of your body are moving in the same way, which limits the rotation I was after. Of course, what makes gymnastic rings so great is that you can perform a lot of these asymmetrically, doing most of the work with one arm and only assisting with the other. This makes them less difficult than the true one-arm version, but still, I was looking for something even less challenging. That's when this modification came to my mind, adding a pulley to the system and connecting both rings with a single piece of rope. You then suspend the pulley on a pull-up bar or a branch with your original ring strap or a carabiner or anything else really. This setup results in one ring going down and the other one going up at the same time. There's also a rule of mechanical advantage in play here, and it makes this move much easier than this move. In the beginning I tried using this small metal pulley, but it didn't work as well as I anticipated. There isn't enough friction between the rope and the wheel, so the rope slides over it instead of spinning it. This heats up the wheel, wears out the rope, and doesn't feel very smooth. Eventually I found this pulley, which has a significantly bigger diameter of the wheel, which gives the rope much more surface to grab on. It also has a bearing in the axle, which allows it to spin much more freely and quietly. With this pulley, the movement of the rings is buttery smooth and much more satisfying to experience. The rope I use has a 10 mm diameter and a polypropylene core, which means it doesn't stretch under load very much, which is key for this use case. Mine is around 2.5 meters long, but it could be shorter if your space is limited. So what can you do with this setup and why I think you should definitely try this? For me, the most obvious way of using this setup is for various pulling exercises. Let's start with rowing, which can be performed in a couple of ways. First, you can simply pull yourself up with one arm and then with the other while holding the rest of your body steady. You can also connect these movements into one smooth motion, trying to keep your chest suspended in the air without going up and down. The third option is to go for maximum range and rotation, trying to reach as far as you can with each rep. You can experiment with leaning more or less while doing rows. Changing that angle not only makes the exercise slightly more difficult, but is also going to hit the back muscles in a different way. Next, we have push-ups, which again can be performed in a few different ways. Resetting your position after each rep with individual arm, or connecting them into one smooth movement. This variation puts a lot of demand on your core to stabilize the body and allows the arms to do most of the movement. And lastly, same as with the rowing, you can try to go for maximum range of motion and rotation in the upper body. Each of these variations feels different and hits muscles in a distinct way. Over-the-head pulling is also possible, and being able to keep your chest stationary lets you decrease the difficulty by supporting some of your weight with your legs. This is usually much less comfortable with regular rings setup, where your whole upper body needs to move up and down. Full body weight chin-ups are pretty challenging, and this movement resembles rope climbing to some extent. You don't have to do them in this L position, however you'd have to hang the pulley very high up for this to work with your whole body straight. Next, I tried doing dips, and to be honest, this one didn't work very well for me. It is possible, but keeping the balance is tough, and for me, doing them this way didn't offer much advantage compared to regular ring dips. It's also possible that I just suck at doing them. And here is one last exercise that I came up with. I'm sure that with some creativity, you could come up with many more using this setup. Training this way is very refreshing, and I'm sure your body will thank you for adding all that rotation into your workouts. If I convinced you to try this training idea for yourself, the links to the pulley are in the description below. Thanks for watching and see you next time.